everyone, welcome back to Home Gym Hacks and Reviews. Today I'm going to compare Powertec's two leg machines, the compact leg sled and the leg press. Stay tuned. Before I compare the two machines, I'm going to do an unboxing for the Powertec Leg Press, which arrived yesterday. I ordered this machine at the end of February. It shipped 10 days after the day that I ordered it, and then it took another 7 days for it to ship from one coast to the next. It arrived via a freight company called Customs Company. So it took a total of 17 days for the machine to get here from the date that I ordered it until the day that it arrived at my doorstep. As you can see, it arrived in perfect condition, as has everything that I've ordered from Powertec over the years, and each piece is wrapped in plastic or it has some type of cardboard support to ensure that nothing got damaged. It took about 30 minutes to get everything out of the box and laid out for assembly, and luckily there wasn't damage to anything, and everything that was supposed to be in the box was in the box. The powder coat job on this machine is a little inconsistent. Some pieces look great, some pieces look a little bit faded and washed out. Let's move on to my biggest gripe when it comes to Powertec products, their instruction manuals. Their instructions are extremely hard to follow, they leave out important steps, and Powertec has created some YouTube videos to make assembly a little bit easier, but even those YouTube videos leave out important steps. And if you look at this instruction manual here, the exploded diagram is difficult to look at, and assembly 1 is easy. That only took a few minutes to do. But then when you turn the page and go to assembly 2, Powertec has tried to cram way too many steps onto one page. So I looked at the video on how to do this section of the machine, and the video left out important steps, so I had to rely on my previous experience putting this machine together and common sense. But then when you jump over to assembly 3, it's very easy, no questions there. So Powertec, please stop trying to cram so many steps onto one page. Here's one of my older gyms where I had the Powertec Smith machine, the Powertec Flat Incline Decline Bench, and the Powertec Streamline Functional Trainer. And as much as I'm complaining about the instructions for the leg press, the instructions for that Streamline Functional Trainer were very, very hard. It probably took me 5 to 6 hours to put the Streamline Functional Trainer together. And there wasn't a YouTube video showing how to do it. And while I liked the functional trainer, I didn't like it enough to keep it, so I sold it to pay for my Concept 2 ski erg. Here's my last garage gym, where I had quite a few of the Powertec attachments that attach to the Flat Incline Decline Bench. I had one of the old Smith machines with a high-low pulley, the multi-press, and this was my first Powertec leg press, and some improvements have been made since that one. If we compare this older Powertec leg press to the newer one, the older had 3 safeties, including the one on the bottom. The newer one has 4 safeties, including the one on the bottom. And the older model caused me to either start with my knees too close to my chest, or I had to do a calf raise in order to get the carriage up and off of the safety. So I'm really glad that Powertec added an extra safety with this newest model. Unfortunately, I don't have any video of it, but I did have the Powertec leg press attachment, and of all the attachments that I've had by Powertec, I liked the leg press the least. I had the dip, the pec fly, the leg extension leg curl, and the preacher, but the leg press attachment was just way too difficult to get on and off of the machine. It also felt like I was going to break the multi-press as I started to go up in weight. And also, you have to start with your knees really close to your chest in order to get a full range of movement. So I sold everything that you see here during one of my moves. Getting back to present day, here we have the two machines side by side. The Sled has a max capacity of 700 pounds, the carriage has a starting weight of 30 pounds, and the total shipping weight was 200 pounds. The leg press has a 1,000 pound capacity, a starting weight of 60 pounds for the carriage, and a total shipping weight of 258 pounds. The leg press is 1 foot longer than the Sled, but the Sled is 10 inches wider than the leg press, and that's simply because of the weight horns for the Sled. At the time of this recording, the leg sled sells for $1,050, while the leg press sells for $1,300. Other than the powder coat being a little inconsistent on the leg press, there is an issue with those weight horns right there. If you notice, it's not level, it dips a little bit to the right. So I'll contact Powertec and see if they can send me another one. I'll give you a quick tour around the machine. We do have the stainless steel weight horns, which are nice. They won't get scuffed up, and the plates slide on and off of them a little more easily. You have two sets of weight horns, one on the top and one on the bottom. I'll go over the bottom weight horns here in a little bit. Also, Powertec blacked out those safeties. Previously, they were chrome. As I mentioned earlier, you have 4 safeties instead of 3, like the older models. That 4th safety is important for me because it allows me to find the right setting. The seat pads are comfortable. You have 4 different adjustments on the back of that seat. And I put a level on the guide rods, and it's a true 45-degree leg press. A quick tour around the compact leg sled. I put a level on those guide rods, and they're 28 degrees. You have 2 adjustment points underneath the platform, one for the calf block and one for the platform. You have stainless steel weight horns, just like on the leg press. And then you do have an adjustment point behind the seat, which allows for 2 different settings. There's the adjustment lever, which allows you to adjust the weight carriage into 3 different positions. When you push away from the platform, the spring automatically disengages. And as I mentioned in my previous review for the compact leg sled, that hook grinds against the frame, which makes a horrible noise, and it tears the machine up a little bit, but not enough to affect the function of the machine. Some people might have an issue with this, but if you load one side, the carriage will tip towards whatever side is heaviest. I'm going to start by talking about the calf raise function for both machines. The compact leg sled comes with a calf block that connects to the platform, but as I mentioned in my old review for this machine, I feel like the calf block sits way too high on the platform, so either the calf block needs to be reshaped or it needs to be lower on the platform. Another option is to just do the calf raise on the bottom of the platform, although there is a raised edge on that platform and it makes the movement feel a little bit uncomfortable. So I have another option, and I think this is the best option for doing calf raises on this machine, and that's to take 2 stall mats. And as you know from a lot of my other videos, I use stall mats for lots of different things, but here they work really well. If you just take 2, put them on the platform, you can do your calf raise this way, and I feel like it puts my legs in a better position, and it doesn't feel uncomfortable because I don't have the lower part of that platform digging into the under part of my foot. If I had to find a problem with this movement, it would just simply be that my feet are too far away from each other. But it's still the best option of the 3 that I've shown so far. And you may have noticed that the platform wobbles a little bit, but it's not an issue. I've had 3, 4, 500 pounds, and it's fine. Here's a different view of doing calf raises on the lower part of the platform with the stall mats in place. You might be able to see what I'm talking about, where my feet are just a little bit wider than where I would normally like them when doing a calf raise. But it still feels good and effective. And you can do one leg at a time if you want to isolate one calf muscle. And now for calf raises on the leg press. I prefer doing calf raises on the leg press compared to the leg sled. I feel the movement is more effective and more comfortable. And here's a different view of using the leg press to do calf raises. It's a quality movement. It allows you to get a deep stretch. And this machine also works good if you only want to do one leg at a time. Moving on to the main function of each machine, the leg press function. On the compact leg sled, I can get a full range of movement. Here I'm trying to hit the very bottom of the machine, and I've exceeded 90 degrees, which is no problem at all. But I also want you to hear what this machine sounds like compared to the leg press. The leg press sounds much quieter, and the movement does feel more smooth. And that's largely because of that hook grinding against the frame on the compact leg sled, which I've mentioned in some other videos. Now for a quick face-off between the two machines. Both machines have 180 pounds on them. Starting with the compact leg sled, the movement is definitely effective, and I'm willing to overlook the metal-on-metal grinding that I hear when I use it, although for some people that grinding would be a deal breaker. And I think this machine mirrors a hack squat more than it does a leg press. And I've never liked using a hack squat. They've always hurt my knees and my lower back. But for some reason, this compact leg sled doesn't cause me any joint discomfort. And it's nice to have the weight in line with my lower body instead of resting on top of my shoulders like a traditional hack squat. Moving over to the leg press, which is also loaded with 180 pounds. This movement feels good and effective. It's definitely a quality movement. And while I was in the search for a leg press, I looked at Titan, I looked at Body Solid, I looked at Force USA, and I wanted something different because I already had the Powertec leg press. But as I looked around, I didn't find anything that was of the quality that this Powertec leg press is. Titan's is a little bit cheaper, but I don't think it's nearly as good as this one. And the only other option was to look at buying like a refurbished Cybex, but still that would have been over $2,000. So this was the way to go for me. Moving on to 300 pounds on each machine. I can't say that one necessarily feels a whole lot heavier than the other, but I know from my previous experiences, I can do much more on the Powertec leg press than I can on the Powertec compact leg sled. I've had over 500 pounds on the older Powertec leg press that I owned, and I don't think I've had quite over 500 on the compact leg sled. Moving over to the compact leg sled, also loaded with 300 pounds. Similar to the leg press, the movement is very effective, and I'm glad that I have both machines because I like to have variety in my training, and if I start to plateau on one machine, I have the other. I do want to mention one thing about buying Powertec pieces from Amazon. I have ordered the leg press, the Streamline Functional Trainer, and one of the old squat racks from Amazon, and they were all from a third-party seller. And I just want you to be mindful that when you buy from Amazon, and if you are buying from a third-party seller, that you may be getting one of the older models that Powertec no longer sells. If you want to work one leg at a time, the compact leg sled allows you to do so. This movement feels effective, no joint pain, no lower back pain. You can also do one leg at a time on the leg press. Again, the movement feels effective. Here is the compact leg sled. The platform is wide enough that it allows you to assume a bunch of different foot positions from wide to narrow, high, and low. And the same thing with the leg press. The platform is wide enough and big enough that it allows you to assume a bunch of different foot positions. And if we compare this to the Titan leg press, I do hear the complaint quite often that the platform isn't big enough to allow for a variety of different foot positions. I mentioned earlier that I would go over the weight horns that are on the underside of the carriage. They can't be loaded from the top position. Instead, you have to lower the carriage all the way into the bottom position and then load the lower weight horns from there. This can be a little tricky because if you load it heavy, then you have to start from the very bottom position. So this is one of the only major complaints that I have about this machine, but I typically don't load the machine so heavy that I need to load the top weight horns as well as the bottom weight horns. This is the best way I've found to use bands for resistance on the leg press. And this is the best way I've found to use bands for resistance on the compact leg sled. Most of the time when I use this machine, especially if I'm going heavy, I use a band from Elite FTS for accommodating resistance. I wrap the band around the top part of the frame and then around the bottom weight horns. And this just offers a little bit of assistance in the bottom part of the movement, and it feels a little bit safer to me, especially if I'm going heavy. This one is about $250 cheaper, and it has a smaller footprint. But this one is a little more sturdy, and it has a greater weight capacity. But with all of that being said, if I could only have one of these, I would choose the compact leg sled because I do think it's a little more lower back friendly, and also I feel that it stimulates the muscles a little bit better. I don't think you could go wrong getting either of these for home gym equipment. They're both a great value. They're both very well built. You do have the option to get both of them for about $2,300, which is about the cost of a refurbished Powertec leg press. I hope you found this video helpful, and hopefully this helps to make your decision easier if you're choosing between one of these. As always, thanks for watching.